Alright, I'm here to talk about Evil Within 2. Definitely late on this. Came out in October. And since I just now recently started making videos for YouTube, I figured why not. This is one of my favorite games so far on PS4. Sorry. So I've played the first one. I bought the first one brand new on Xbox 360, and I loved it. I guess a lot of people don't like it, which I had no idea. And the main complaints I've heard for the first one is that it's too hard and too gory. I think those are pretty dumb complaints. Saying a game is too hard and that's why you don't like it. That's Dark Souls is too hard. I don't hate it. I just don't play it. I mean, I've played it. I just don't really play it that much. And the first one, it didn't really have a good, the story wasn't explained too well. I think the story was pretty understandable, but there were some parts where you're kind of wondering, what's happening? But it's one of the rare games where I still go back to my 360 and I'll load it up and replay it and still have fun. I had fun with the expansions too. And this, the second game, I've been waiting for a long time for it to come out. I bought this brand new. Oh man, I'm sorry. And right when I started the new game, the first thing I noticed is the voice actor's different, and it bugs me. The first one, his voice, I'm not trying to sound weird or anything, but man, his voice was really cool in the first game. Not that it's crappy in this one. It's just you get so used to a voice that you can't I can't accept it. Like I try it, but I can't. And oh man, I will just say that I'm off from work making this, and it's like 5 in the morning, so I'm just a little tired. But yeah, and then the voice actor, but that has really nothing to do with how the game plays. Right from the beginning, you learn that before the first game, your daughter gets killed because the house burns down, and your wife freaks out thinking that there's a conspiracy and that it was on purpose, and you guys split up. So that happens, which I think they talk about it a little bit in the first game. You have to read about it in the books you find. So that's how it starts. And then, some things happen. I won't really spoil it. I mean, I feel like it's still pretty new that not a lot of people have played it. So you go back into, STEM and the nightmare world. And the gameplay is almost the same, but they've definitely made everything more fluid and just feel, just not clunky, The first one is, I don't know, it's how I feel when I played, Resident Evil 4. But definitely something in this game that I don't know. I didn't really watch much trailers for this game, even though I was really excited for it. Is that it's not open world, but it's like sandbox, and oh man, that's probably what made the game 100 times cooler. Is you just have this huge town to explore, and you can completely ignore all the side missions. You don't even have to do it. You can just go straight to do the main mission, or there's a side mission with this. And I need to go back and finish it because there's a side mission with this floating singing lady, and her arms are all weird and she has long hair, and she starts singing and saying your name, and you can hear it through the controller, and it freaked me the fuck out when I first experienced that. And I didn't know how to complete it, so I still haven't completed it. And there's a little thing where you can go into this church, and there's this crazy guy, and you can find ammo and weapons and all kinds of things. And you feel like you can do things at your own pace. A lot of problems with, not that every single player game has to be open world, but I think a lot of the problems with a lot of single player games is that they just, here's a mission, here's an arrow, follow it, go. And, even RPG, like Skyrim, Fallout, they had this problem. Well, you had your little map at the bottom, and it just tells you, oh, go there. Oh, go there. It's too much hand holding. And I like that in Evil Within. It basically tells you, you pull up your map, it tells you, hey, look in this area. But that's another thing. It says, look in this giant dot, and somewhere in that is where you need to go. So, I remember going to some kind of car shop, and it pointed, and I couldn't find where to go, and it's pissing me off. And finally I hear this noise, and I looked at this door I passed by, which was, locked, and I hear this, this, just weird noise, and then bam, this, weird fucking monster comes out, and, I got tentacles in the face, man, it got me. That's another thing, this game, the first one was more on just nasty and almost, gory scenery, whereas this one's more for that very, very tense, creepy, something's over your shoulder, your hair is standing up, and you just feel creepy playing it, when I played it at night, and, my apartment is, faces the woods, and it's just this creepy atmosphere you get, and I love it. I love it. I had a good time playing it. And in this game, in the first game, you could craft crossbow bolts, and that was about it. But in this game, you can craft a whole lot of stuff. You can craft ammo, health. You craft weapons. Some. It's not like you get a schematic and all that. You'll find a broken weapon, and it's not any weapon. It's a sniper rifle and a flamethrower. Those are the only ones I could find that were broken that I had to fix. But when you fix them, they're really worth fixing. Crafting ammo, you can craft while you're going, but it takes double the amount, which is pretty annoying. But towards the end, I did that a few times, and it saved my life. But overall, it's not hard to find a safe house to go craft parts. And I thought it was neat because it makes you go out into the world more, because you're going out to scavenge, and you're looking for ammo, you're looking for gunpowder, you're looking for metal scrap, and all kinds of cool things. So I thought that was neat. That's in the open world part, and beating it. I think there's 17 chapters. I definitely, when I got to a certain point, I thought this is the end, and then this whole other thing happened. I was like, oh, okay, this is the end. And then it happened again, and then it finally ended. And not that I'm complaining, but it sets, from the beginning, it sets up this, this unknown guy, and you think that's the end, and then something else happens, and you're like, okay, this has to be the ultimate, this is a long cutscene. And then something else happens, and then you finally beat it, and you're like, God, I'm not going to say what it is, but there is a post-credit scene, and man, I got all tense just looking at it. Yeah, definitely sets up a sequel. Don't know, if it'll be the main character, if it'll be Sebastian or not, but it'll definitely be worth playing because they did a really good job. I know a lot of people who didn't like the first game ended up playing this game and loved it. A friend of mine, he's never played the first one, but he came over when I bought it and we were playing it, and he just thought, wow, this actually looks really fun. I feel creeped out. It's an open world. I get and I don't. At least from what I know, he doesn't really seem the type to like horror games, but he loved it. He's like, hell yeah, I'd like to buy this. So that's cool. Overall, I would say buy it. I don't know if it's on sale or anything. $60. I think it's definitely worth $60. They have a fun mini game that's it's like Bejeweled or whatever, but it's you shoot it. It's pretty fun. Just little things that make it fun. $60. I don't know. If you really love like Resident Evil and Silent Hill, yes. If you don't, wait till it's like $30. But I will say, when you play it on the harder difficulties, it will whoop your ass. But that is going to be it for this. Thanks for listening, and leave a comment if you want.